Welcome to the Collage Podcast, and thank you for making us a part of your day. If you enjoy the podcast, please like, rate, and subscribe.
Hey, I want to welcome everybody to another edition of the Collage Podcast. And as we were recording on a Tuesday, not that that matters here, but on Tuesday, we get somebody from our little area, and they're going to come and talk to us a little bit about themselves. And then for all of you out there who are new or whatever, so we are the Collage Podcast, like we mentioned. We're recording out of a little place called Temple, Texas. So it's little to us. Yay! And as you can tell, we may have quite a firecracker here today that we're going to talk to. So we are in Temple, Texas. We're out of a place called Feed My Sheep here in Temple.
Amen.
So that's kind of the nuts and bolts of where we're at. And our guest today, I am excited, this is Wendy today. And so what we're going to do, Wendy, first thing, tell us a little bit about, to everybody out there listening, tell us about Wendy.
Good afternoon.
Hey.
My name is Wendy.
Oh, don't have to say your last name.
Okay.
You can. That's fine.
All right. Well, I was born in Roxborough, Pennsylvania.
Where?
Roxborough, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
I grew up in Philadelphia, near the railroad station down in Kensington.
Okay.
Sorry, Kensington. No, anyways. So I grew up there, was just in the 70s. Anyways.
So
Just say
Uh-huh.
no, because it's very funny that we're sitting here.
Okay.
Because I never imagined this situation would happen for me. And I've always dreamed of being able to help somebody that I knew would grow up on that street know that you don't have to let that neighborhood take you. You have to learn to overcome things that happen there.
Okay. Okay. Can we just start right there? And we are, well, obviously we are, because that's where we're starting. Okay. So, unbelievable in that what you just said right there. Okay. So we're going to just kind of backtrack a bit from Pennsylvania area.
Yes.
Okay. And the street that you talked about, that where your upbringing and you had friends for.
Called Carl Street.
Say it again.
Carl Street.
Okay. And what town is it in?
Philadelphia, PA.
Okay.
Kensington neighbor.
And we're going to have another discussion later as why the political system in Philadelphia is so messed up. Like, man, they almost cost us an election. What in the world? I'm just kidding. Like, we're not getting into politics on that one. So that's just a joke in hand. But I am guessing the street is very difficult type street.
Well, let me just say that when I was a child, just say early 70s, I was born in 67. But we did go through, that's when first busing originated in my public school. I went to Powers. It was a public school then, only for kindergarten and first grade. But they started public busing for school integration. And it was rough. It was not dangerous, but it was hard.
Yeah.
Because two different cultures, two different peoples, not knowing anything, not because we were ugly, but we were children. I don't know about the adults there, but it was very, it was hard. It wasn't dangerous, so I got to say that. When I didn't, let me say that I live next to what they call a trestle. It's a dividing line. This is your side. This is our side.
Okay.
So I say this because I hear so much right now.
Oh, my God.
About prejudice and people like this. And I don't have this. And this offends me only because we have come so far. And we are not where we were. I was one of them children that we had to fight through certain things, but we never, ever would call people out of their names. it was not appropriate for children to speak like that. I don't care if you're black, white, yellow, orange. You know, it's not necessary. You know, my parents, our educators taught us that's not how you speak to each other.
That's right.
And it's unacceptable. So I guess because what I've seen out here, where I am right now, and where I've been, is just disrespect for yourself, for your parents. I'm sorry, but I had two parents, a mother and a father, and I am grateful for that. But they taught me. They weren't perfect, but they did not get divorced through 53 years. They had 5 kids, 6 kids. They lost one.
Okay.
But, and, you know.
Like, so in it, and you think about this craziness, because we're older, okay? So, like, not old, like,
Yeah.
like, and Wendy looks very good for her age. Like, she looks very young. Like, if you're walking in here, you'd go, oh, Wendy, she's very young. And then Jeff is just old and washed up looking. I'm tired. Like, and so we're beat
Yeah.
But what's interesting is, and we won't go terribly far in it, but you've been in a world that I would pray we never go back, of this integration like that, where the people from this side of town, I grew up here in Temple, and well, we didn't have busing. We were one of the last places. Ready? You want to hear something crazy? We were one of the last school districts that bused kids for just the opposite reason. We didn't want them to mix good, and we kept them separated. And so, this school, because there was no busing, it would be predominantly one color for a whole long time. And this one, just because of geographics, they didn't bus back in the day because we didn't. Now, Temple High, you came together, but so interesting, because that's a different world, and it's still like the one we're in now. I don't know. I mean, obviously, like we would both agree. I don't claim to know what it was like to be in Pennsylvania. You don't claim to know what it's like to grow up in Texas, okay? But we know what we were taught. And like for me, all I know is that it didn't matter about anybody else's physical anything or any social stand. You did not speak down to any person. Like, it was just unacceptable. Like, grandmother, she would have, tore me up, and my mother would have been there. No, you don't do that. And so
I say this, what bothers me about it is because we had a lot of kids. We were not rich. We didn't have a lot of money. But we were not entitled to anything we did not work for. My parents taught me I had to go to school. I had to do chores. I did 10-cent jobs by the time I was 6 years old, sweeping or something. But I never heard this word entitlement that keeps going down, that the government is not taking care of me. Well, if my parents couldn't take care of me, then, I'm not saying that there is not emergency services. And there's always been critical life services, bread line, cheese line, food stamps, but it's gotten what I see right now. And this kind of really is hard for me because I'm not here. I have lost, let me say, my mother died in 2012.
Okay.
My father died in 2019. I lost my son. My daughter died December 7th of last year.
Your son and daughter died?
No, my son I lost.
Oh, okay. Lost. Got it.
No.
Oh, okay. Got it.
But
yeah, fair.
It's happened at once. I end up homeless. My father died. I end up homeless. I lived in Arlington. And all these things started happening. And I never, I started seeing things. And it really wasn't until here. First, let me say that when I started getting in trouble in Arlington, my father died, and I didn't handle it. I gave up.
Yeah.
I went into, let me just say, I've been in service for they've been telling me I was mentally ill by giving me a bunch of pills, more pills and more pills. They sent me to psychotherapy. I have been in 27 hospital stays here in Texas for mental health, for suicide, for depression.
Really?
Because, I mean, they keep giving me pills. Anyways, this all happened at one point. I had, crisis come in, and they say my daughter went to school at Gun Junior High in Arlington, Texas.
Okay.
And, I drove her to school every day. I picked her up every day. Unfortunately, some kind of criminal gangs have creeped into our neighborhoods. And all of a sudden, I pick her up one day as she's got this blue bandana under her pants. And I'm like, well, what is that?
Okay.
So then I'm going to pick her up. She's missing in the middle of the day. So this starts moving up and I'm going, trying to get her. And I'm seeing these things happen. She's getting involved with places, So I'm trying to find her. Anyways, this just started a cycle. I have a son named Armando.
Okay.
He's 30 years old. He has Down syndrome.
Okay.
I raised him by myself. Really, he was born with 2 holes in his.
Okay.
He had all the nerves in his colon. He had to have surgery for them to see that if they could even find. They scraped it all out. He has what's called Hirschsprung's disease. And they had to find nerves that worked and put in a lambskin sac in his colon. But he had surgery after surgery. I did that independently till he was about 10 years old. A crisis hit, unfortunately, with my family. And I had to go stay with my father. But in between of needing that help because of all this, I don't have to go in details, but my father, I went to stay with him. And I didn't have babysitters then. Nobody helped babysit my child. I did that by myself. I really was scared that if they did something because of his Down syndrome, because of all the medical, oh, well, maybe something's going to happen. And so I didn't have a problem with that. But after that, 2 children, it hit me. It wore me out. That crisis was just over.
Okay.
But then I was trying to get help. But they were never really, they started telling me, you're mentally ill. You need to take medicines. We're going to do this. And it never got it never changed. They just kept telling me that. So, anyways, my father died in 2019. When I lost him, that was the only person I was who I looked to. I didn't know really Jesus then, let me tell you that.
Okay.
I knew I was raised Catholic, but I didn't know anything about a relationship with Jesus Christ.
Okay.
I was taught that you pray to Mary, you say Hail Marys, you talk to a priest, but I never, ever knew what I do today. Let me just say that. I'll get to that later. But,
okay. Yeah.
So when my dad died, I freaked out. I lost it. I started on a suicide rampage. I just wanted to die. But the police in Arlington, they knew me different. For some reason, they kept finding me, and I was like, why are you harassing?
Yeah.
What did I do?
Yeah.
They didn't harass me.
They
knew that I was suffering. And I didn't realize that anybody had ever paid attention. I really thought I was only hurting myself. I didn't know that I was doing all I was.
So then in that, like at that time, your dad,
stroke.
You did?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
I had a stroke. And I ended up in Tarrant County Jail. Actually, the ambulance picked me up and took me to John Peter Smith Hospital. where I was telling them, please don't put that. I was there overnight.
Okay.
I said, please don't put me on the streets. They're saying, you got to go. Nothing's wrong with you. And there was all video. I says, so anyways, the cops picked me up, took me to jail. They were not very kind. And I'm going to go into that. But so I'm going through lockup booking at Tarrant County Jail. For some reason, they put me in a holding cell, and I passed out, I guess.
Okay.
I went into a complete stroke. And it was a little while later, I don't know how long I was out, but 3 or 4 cops came in, literally picked me up and sat me in a wheelchair. I couldn't even move. They wheeled me in front of a judge. They told me, they gave me a sentence. I did all this stuff. I couldn't even talk. I couldn't even move. So, but, I'm grateful because I told you when they took me down to this MHMR cell and put me in there, I was completely capable.
Okay.
I literally rolled off. It was probably not for a day or so when I realized nobody's coming in. So I rolled off onto the floor. I started moving on the floor. Literally cut myself to be able to get up and walk. I physically, the Lord, I can only tell you that the Lord had to do that.
Okay.
Okay. But in that, I end up getting held there make sure I was safe. And that's where, when I got released from out of there, somebody named Steve Nedler, and he's in Arlington right now, but he's from Temple, Texas. And I didn't know him. But somebody met me, just saying an angel met this girl, Savannah Morganson, he met in jail. And she said, well, I had this friend I met, but we didn't even plan on talking. And he happened to be at an NA meeting I went to there. And I couldn't walk. He was like, and he wasn't even talking to me. This guy he's sponsoring says, we can't leave them sitting on the curb. It's dark out. And he's got like 30 days. He said, Steve. And he's like, well, no, we need to get them somewhere. And he's like, well, okay. So they went to 3, 4, 5 different motels. They could not get us a room. So he took me, and Savannah went and stayed there with me so I could sleep in the other bed. I couldn't. They tried to give me housing, tried to get me situated somewhere to get help. I couldn't do it. Steve's the one that noticed that. He was like, she can't do it. And he watched me do an interview with the Oxford House, and he was like, stop this. And he said, are you willing to leave here? And I says, I'll do anything. I'm going to die. And he did. He took off and he drove me out here. He brought me out here to this ministry. So since I've been here, I've been sober 3 years now.
Congratulations.
I have been completely healed from head to toe.
Okay. Yeah.
I can speak, read, write, run. I could probably kick as high as he can.
He can't kick real high. So no offense, Bobby.
But I mean, the Lord has transformed me. I don't have the skill to do what God has done in my life. And I got to say that this town has had an ascension of angels on it. Because everywhere, from the time I left at home, I got out on the streets here. I was taught, I'm not looking for free stuff.
No.
I need to know how to do this. So I didn't have anything. But Miss Denny, we talked. I went to my bank. I said, can I make a loan? I didn't have any reason for them, except I was with them for like a year then at Texel. And they said, yeah, you can do this. So I took a loan, $1,000 loan. And I really didn't have anything but small check.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to a place and I used that whole $1,000 for a month. Well, I paid the first month, Miss Henny took me there, and I paid the first week. It's $250. As soon as I got there, I got a phone call from my daughter, Mandy. She was in Arlington. And I was told I needed to go out to Denton Medical City, because she was dying.
She was dying.
Yeah. I got out there, and she had been diagnosed with AIDS. She had been diagnosed with, they had some disorder, a brain disorder. They had like a list of things. Now, they was holding her there. But, I'd been trying to help my daughter for many years. And I have only been sober for a little while, about 2 years then.
Mm-hmm.
But I went up and I took some oils and I prayed with her. And I asked her, would she receive the Lord with me?
Mm-hmm.
She said yes. She was, let me just say, it was soon after that. She left, she signed out at AMA, which isn't surprising. That's kind of, she was having issues, all kinds of. But I came back here. Well, I went to my sister's. It was right near Thanksgiving last year. And they called me for this job. Miss Denny got me a job helping out up here. But, the thing is, this is so most important. I go to a church, Trinity Church.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
I've never been to a church like this. Okay. My pastor, and I've never really had a long, in-depth conversation with my pastor. But everybody in that church is so around me. They have taken my face. Even when I didn't have teeth. I couldn't even walk right. I just started singing. Let me tell you, I was worshiping from day one. I don't know why. That's how I started getting my health.
Mm-hmm.
Reading the Word. All I could do was read my Bible. Read and worship. Try to volunteer. I would clean all the time. Try to stay busy. Keep my exercise, physically work my body out. And these are the little things. But these women at this church has just wrapped around me and told me how to pray. My pastor taught me to read the Word of God. Read the Bible myself. But they've done Bible studies to explain books.
Agreed. So then out of that, you didn't even know. Okay, you didn't even know that we were going to talk. Now, I didn't know it, but we're going to explore here because I think you have just shown a huge way for communities to really, really, really solve a lot of the issues that we face here. Like, so you just said, what did the church do? It wrapped their arms around you and just loved on you and worked with you and mentored you and held you accountable for this. It's not asking too much, but it is. So then you had a place that you belonged, a group of people that cared about you, okay, and that were part of your life. And you wanted to grow, and then God, this God is even bigger, and that you're going, wow, there's a greater thing out there than any one of us, and there's this God, and then this God that created everything, but yet, even though I don't understand how, and it makes no sense, cares about me individually, along with every person in the world, and you're going, that can't be. Okay, so we're going to go back.
People on the street.
Oh, yeah.
That I've met.
Mm-hmm.
Not one of them has been uneducated.
No, agree.
Not one of them. Every one of them is either a nurse, a theologian, I'm serious. Everybody out here has been hit upside down. They are incredible people. And they did not start there.
No, agreed. Okay. So then out of that, and that's what we're going to, so for people to know, okay, the stories that are here, there is not, and they're all very different. Okay. So like in it. So if you are out there and you say, man, I know what every homeless person is like, well, let me break something to you. You don't have a clue. Okay. Or if I said that on any group, I know what every insert group here is like. You're wrong. I cannot make blanket statements on anything. Here, the stories that we would share are all very different, all different type of people, some unbelievably highly educated, all this and that. Okay. And so
the Lord says, do not judge.
Do not judge, or you shall be judged yourself. Yeah.
When I never thought this would happen to me.
Right.
And
or even this, like this thing on the positive, like, so out of this, Wendy's saying, who does? And that's, if any of you are listening, you would go, wow, heard that sentence before, because there's not been a person who has sat down here and we talk about life and how things occur and events that occur and decisions are made and this happens or that happens. But all of that, not one person has sat here, and all the ones that we've talked to and said, you know what, Jeff, when I was 5 years old and then on through high school, I thought, you know what I want to do? I want to figure out how at some point in my life I can live without a house and try to make it on the streets on my own. Has not been anybody's goal that I've met. I'm not going to say, okay, so if you are out there and that was your goal and you have succeeded, you might want to evaluate your goals, would be my first thing, but I stand corrected. Most of the people would say the sentence, I'm not even sure how this happened, but it did. Okay, so we're going to backtrack on you just a bit, because you said 2019. Not the 2019 matters. That's not the backtrack. Okay, the backtrack is, you said in 2019, your father passed away, and it hurt you badly. And we're not going to go back to that, please.
Sure.
Okay, and I'm not trying to, but then out of that, you did say something that I thought was tragically sad, is you didn't want to live anymore, and you proactively tried to find ways to end your life. So that is a terribly dark place. And let me ask you, and you even said it, and you said the thing that was so difficult is you felt all alone. Okay.
I've been on suicide for my solutions since I was 12.
Yeah.
This is the first time in my life. When I say God has healed me, I don't mean just my physical body.
Okay.
I have been, and anybody can look in my medical records.
We're not going to do that. Everybody out there in the audience, stay away from our medical records.
Right. But I have been struggling with depression, suicide, and drugs all my life.
Okay.
Since I was 12. Whatever reason, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, get fair.
What I can tell you is today,
fair.
I have, since I left this place up the street, okay?
Huh?
I have been out here. I have paid everything I had, worked all day, volunteered for 2 years, and still end up back on the street. Bad things happen to good people.
Well, fair.
But not once have I went to pick up a drug, drink. I can't even take medication. I don't take any medications at all. I carry ibuprofen, which I take very sparingly. I drink, honestly, 10 bottles minimum of water a day.
What?
I drink 10 bottles minimum of water a day.
You're tearing our environment up, Wendy. What are you doing?
I walk.
Okay.
I have had, when it says in Romans about a transformation, a renewal of your mind,
okay,
that means I had to change. And the Lord, I didn't do that myself. That's what needs to be clear. It says surrender. And if I don't tell you this is serious, okay, I didn't know what to do. When God says, be still and know that I'm God,
okay,
it's because God knows. I don't have the answers.
Fair.
Everything I've been doing all these years has got me where I'm at. I don't know what to do. I don't no longer know how to get a job the way I did because the stroke has taken. I tried to go back to school with all good intentions.
Uh-huh.
I'm very capable, but I could not get the algebra to click the way.
Oh, me too. I can't. Oh,
I couldn't. Just because I'm capable, God has given me different skills that are way more extraordinary, but they're different ones.
they're different.
So what I used to do isn't what I do now, okay? What I was great at, okay, isn't what I'm great at now, okay? I didn't have an identity. I was always ashamed. I was always angry. God,
What were you ashamed of?
who I was.
Why?
Notice I have a scar on my face from here
Well, I've noticed
to
it.
here. But it's only, I was 7 years old. I fell and about a broken bottle in a bottle. It broke and it cut my face.
Did it really?
And I was called Scarface.
Oh my gosh.
I was treated, let me just say, and I didn't know I am Jewish.
Okay.
My father did obviously tell me that for some reason. I didn't know till now I know. But he always said we're German. And
Oh, okay.
so, but then I come to find out all these things were happening to me. And these, in this neighborhood, or there was nobody Jewish, there was nobody, really even German, but there was some things going on. But let me say that you know how to respect myself. I
Okay,
didn't
fair,
do it.
fair.
So I allowed myself to be mistreated.
Mhm.
Number one, my father told me something. I did not understand why. To say, for every 12-year-old girl out there
Okay.
that thinks they can run the parents' house better than the parents if they just give you the wallet because you know better, please stop that.
Yeah.
Please beware. I did that. And I end up doing a lot of stuff even worse.
Yeah.
So I had self-hatred. I didn't, you would have known it because I am the most social.
No, agreed. Like, so I'll tell you, Wendy, like, I'm not cutting you off.
Right.
It breaks my heart. Okay. Like here, because I've only met this Wendy. Okay. So like the one that's here, I didn't, the thought of you and then what you defining yourself by what the world you're Scarface, or you're this class of people because this is your heritage. And then you start believing these lies. Like then, but they're told to you over and over and over. And so then we start looking at ourselves and go, it must be true because everybody else sees it, and you start believing it yourself. And then you start hating yourself, going, man, I'm no good. I'm this and I'm bad. And then we live in response of that very bad place. And it can be extremely, and we use this word numerous times, very lonely. And it can hurt really bad to be in these places where it could make it, we're going to come back to this place, to today, because we're going to talk to this Wendy,
Yeah.
but where it could make sense to a 12-year-old girl to say, you know what, I don't want to be alive anymore. The other option is better than this one.
Hmm.
And you go, I don't want this anymore. I'll be done. And then maybe that didn't work out that way. And then the next alternative to that is, well, then I don't want to feel anything. Drugs and alcohol and self-abuse in that way is the next best way. And I'm saying best is not a good word. It is the next way to deal with this self-hatred. And then you cling to anything. But if I just don't feel anything, then I can't hurt. So you're going, golly, that would be a terrible way. And then we would come to what I would say, a lot of the people that I work with here and a lot of people I get to meet, the only commonality, the thing that I would say is very common is most of the people that I come in contact with that are out here, they are very, very lonely, and they have lived in lies of how they are to determine what their worth is. Their parents maybe did a certain, not saying your parents, but their parents treated them in such a way that let them know, oh, you're worthless. Or this relative or this person did sexual acts to them that were atrocious, that let them know that you are dirty.
I've had that done too.
Okay, I would bet money.
When I was very young, probably about 5 years old,
Always, yep.
I had, I really want to say this is, and my brother did do it to me.
Yeah.
And that came, I never even see my face. I didn't even know what color my eyes were until I got here.
What are you talking about? Really? You didn't even look at yourself that way.
And
what's in, like, I will tell you this, Wendy, like the other thing I'm learning for all your the people that are listening out there, okay, if you listen to our stories, always, the only common other thing is everybody, I'm not so sure we're not at almost everybody, they will always say, when I was 5, this occurred. Always the number 5. Always when I was 5. And it's a sexual abuse. My uncle did this to me. My brother did this to me. My foster dad did this to me. My insert relative or friend or family friend. And I couldn't tell anybody. And I was ashamed. And then the perpetrator, justice is never really brought forth much in those cases. The person that was victimized, well, hey, they're young. They're little kids. They can't tell anybody, and then if you tell somebody, they're like, you can't tell anybody. Or that's family business. Don't tell anybody our family business, whatever that means. And then the person, they have to live with that. And then you got this, and the kids at 12-year-old, that's junior high type age kids. Horribly mean people. And then they say, oh, whatever physical feature that they could find to pick, either you're tall or you're small or you're skinny or you're fat or you have a scar or you have one eye that's this or you have an arm that's, whatever physical thing we can find, and we're going to go, let's make fun of them about that. And then you go and have to live in that. It's terribly lonely. And then the different battles that we have in this world of mental health and finding wellness in that world, because there's so many things, and I'm not like, we slap a whole bunch of medicine at some of the issues, which maybe that's right. And I'm not a doctor, so I'm not prescribing anything, but I've seen some that's not the rightest of answers. So all of that. Okay. So we're at a positive place, because we're not at a not positive place, because like you said, everything that has occurred,
it's been a blessing.
It's been a blessing. And it got, like, this is the crazy part, Wendy, like, ready. We're sitting here doing we're both old people. We're sitting here doing
You're old, okay? You know yourself, but you're at, I probably feel about, no, maybe not as young as I was, but I feel pretty young.
You are very young. Like, so I will go on record, but we're sitting here doing a podcast. We're talking to the people all around the country about this. What in the world? If somebody, when I was 5 years old, said, Jeff, you're going to do this in your life, and I said, not a chance. I don't even know what you're talking about, because they didn't have such. Okay. So we're doing that, and we're sitting here, and you're going, that's really crazy. And all the people that were on your street that you're growing up in Philadelphia. Okay.
In Philly.
Okay. And the Sixers are terrible. I'm going on the record. And I don't like the Eagles. And I'm just.
Oh, it's no better than the Cowboys. I'm just going to say I love the same.
Okay.
I am a Texan.
But Cowboys
are doing it too good. Okay.
Cowboys aren't even.
Your church on Sunday.
What in the world?
Your church on Sunday.
The Cowboys have been. They have not showed up on a Sunday football game yet.
Texans.
But last night was they played the Texans last night, and it was a horrifically bad game. Horrifically bad for the Cowboys. It is a absolute They're a very good high school team right now, but they happen to play in the NFL is the problem. So I want to we're going
Took prayer off the fields, you know?
oh,
Well, maybe that's what's happening.
well, in it, at the end of the day, I find it hard to really care either way, whether this group of multi-millionaires got beat by this other group of multi-millionaires matters to me absolutely zero. We're probably looking at enough money sitting on that field at that particular moment that could have solved who knows what social issues. But they played a game and one of them really stinks at it. Oh, yippee dippy, that was worth $150 million, or whatever. So
I walk around outside and talk to people and feel way better than if I sit and watch the football game. I'm not any kind of sports fan no more.
Nah.
I'm not against them, and I'm not a pro anybody for anybody. I'm pro God. I am pro human. What do you call it? So get into humanity. Help humanity. We have been going through a crisis. The whole world has been going through it. It's not a big secret. And my time sitting, I try to put my phone down. I don't do social media. I don't do all these things.
You're doing a podcast.
Right, but I don't stay on my phone all day.
100%.
Because, there are, I have to allot time. Because I will stop doing my Bible. I will stop doing people. I will stop volunteering to help other people, help myself, shower, shave, whatever that is. So go to church, be talking to you, right? I wouldn't be talking to you, but I'd probably be stuck on the phone playing some video game.
So, ready. We're going to dial this one in right here at the end. Because we've talked about, and anybody listening is going, man, that lady's not really sad. She's full of energy. Like, you're go-get. So let me ask you this, Wendy. Okay, you've made quite a journey to get to this place here. We hadn't even touched the tip of the iceberg, as you can see. But you have come to this place today. So you would say life is good or is life bad? Just simple.
Life is wonderful.
Okay, life is wonderful. And I'm going to ask you the follow-up question with that. So Wendy would come to this place now. So I'm going to ask you this. We're going to come back to that one. And then the next question, is Wendy beautiful or is Wendy ugly?
No, I love myself today.
Okay, good. So tell me and what you would tell others. And 100%, that is an accurate description of Wendy. She is beautiful. And she is...
I'm a child of God.
That's it. That's right.
I am above and I am the head. And I hate to say that, but this is what's got me. I'm a child of God.
That's right.
And there's nobody that I looked at isn't a child of God.
100%.
And my eyes being healthy means I can see that in everybody I look at. When I don't see that, then I do need to look at myself.
That's right. So then out of it, what I love on that is I don't think people deserve worth. That's not the reason I think they need to be given worth. It's because God created them and they are children of God. They are His, and He thinks they are of worth. I can't say it enough times. Psalm 139, that we were intricately woven together in our mother's womb. And His good and pleasing thoughts, God's good and pleasing thoughts about me and about Wendy, they are innumerable. They are outnumber the grains of sand. And so you look at that, and so then we would say, people, they're worth treating well, not because of anything other than the fact that God deemed it so. And God said, these are my children. Yeah, and then we can go theologically. And He said, you know what? I love them so much that I don't ever want to be separated from them. And I'm going to send my Son so they can have this eternity with me. So Wendy's made this journey, and she's now defined herself as she is a beautiful child of God, loved by Him. And you are. And you are. And your eyes, you see the world as it should be, that people are good. And you would say life is not just, it's tolerable, not bad. Life is wonderful. How in the world and what would you tell anybody out there? Because I would say still, your physical circumstances, you're not living in where you would like to be your permanent living situation, right?
No, I'm homeless.
Okay, that's right. So this is not where Wendy's going to stay forever, in our opinion. Like we would like to. You didn't win the lottery, so it's not like you got gajillion bucks. Okay, the physical circumstances of your life are not what the world would say. Oh, well, that's why she's happy, because she's got everything. But
I
Wendy,
don't have anything but God.
okay, tell me about that.
God is my answer to everything. I have an attitude that says you wake up in the morning and I wake up and I'm blessed.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a choice. You know, everybody has a problem, but God is everywhere. And I could choose to focus on my problem, or I could choose to look at my blessings. And I see people everywhere reaching out. They are not giving me a home to live in, but they're giving me shampoo. I have somebody giving me food. I have a place, the Salvation Army give me a place to sleep at night.
Right.
You know, I get up and look for somewhere to. I just got blessed today. Somebody else let me clean their house today. You know, but yeah. So I don't have everything, but I have an attitude of gratitude because I could be sick, sad, or sorry, or I could be grateful, healthy, motivated. That's how I get depressed, when I focus on what I don't have. When I'm waiting for somebody else to fix my problem. When I'm saying, well, why isn't somebody doing this for me? Well, you know what? If somebody's not doing something for me and I'm still able, it's not my business what somebody else does. They don't owe me anything. If they give me or do something, I am so grateful. I have no reason to tell you, you have to have a heart for me, or you have to give me your paycheck because I don't have it, or the government is not doing enough because I'm sick. My attitude is what I have. I am grateful. I have the glory of God in my life. I have been healed, whole, redeemed. I have no reason whatsoever. I have health, strength. It has been a long journey. And I just realized some of the mental clarity wasn't a mental, it was from the stroke. So some of that was I had to stretch it. But God was like, I know this is hard. We're going to do this. Because that broke open the lie that I can only hold so much in my brain. Or the devil's telling you this. No. You can do. My father never, because I'm a woman, but I was trained up, but my father was very military. And there are certain things, attitudes, he never discussed. My father never said, what is all your problems? My father said, okay, you have a crisis, so tell me what it is, and then we'll say what we can do. Don't tell me all the problems. Tell me what your crisis is. What right this moment do you need? So now I look at that. I say, okay, what do I need today? I have a place to sleep. I have a million people around me that are, if I feel like I have an issue, I can look at another person and see some other might have it worse.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But my health comes from my attitude, from my gratitude, from the Lord's word, from just learning that I'm getting older and not overdoing it.
Okay, good. Well, I will tell you, Wendy, and I hope everybody else out there too, if nothing else, we did not go way deep in your past. We got a pretty good glimpse, but I hope everybody got to see the energy and the positivity that you bring right now and everywhere you go. And it is much appreciated, and the joy and the smile. And it's really neat. So we met, we have a mutual friend who happened to win an election not too long ago.
Hillary! Thank you, Mom!
So Hillary,
PRW, thank you, lady!
yeah. So
Sorry.
she worked for a campaign, and then out of that, the candidate reached out to us and said, got a friend named Wendy, so she texted me even before we were able to help you, like 2 days. And then another one of our friends, Matthew, met you, and he's in the political arena as well. And they said, hey, can we help Wendy? So that's how we met here. But I hope everybody out there sees and takes from this. It's life can be a choice in how we make it. And bad things are going to happen, and difficult things are going to happen, and good things are going to happen, and things are going to happen. The thing that we can control is how we choose to respond to so much of these things. And so, as simplistic as that sounds, and for us to understand also here in this world, a lot of what we face every day, there is a lot, and Wendy is now on the other side of it, but there's a lot of lonely people. And I'm going to let you in on a simple surprise for everybody out there. Even if you're not walking down Feed My Sheep, if you're not on Avenue G, if you happen to be sitting at work right now, I promise you, you can look around and you will see a whole lot of hurting, sad people in the world right now. That's nothing negative on that. Then it's not, and then us included in that list, but that's not the world we have to live in. Okay, the world, and Christ came so that he died so that we should have life and life abundantly, and not so that we should have life and life miserably.
You know, I sat here and I wanted to be politically correct because I've always been.
We're going to stay. Oh, I don't know. What is politically correct?
That's why I'm telling you the joke is here. Because,
oh, Nelly, I don't like to.
know how to speak, where to speak, and when to be. And I always do that. And I never really laugh when I do that.
Okay.
You know, I wanted to sit here and just be, right. And this is one of the reasons joy has left my life. Because people get offended because you don't agree and say the exact same things. We're all human beings. I find joy in life. I've never been afraid to speak. And I feel, it's one thing to get on here and sound and look right, say all the right words. I'm not intellectually deficit of anything, okay? But I didn't want to pretend. I wanted to. I was scheduled to do that.
Okay.
But in reality, life is not always politically correct. And,
we will agree on this one.
Yeah.
Okay. We don't disagree. Okay. So I'm saying what we would agree on, and I would wish the world, I wish it would come to this place. We would say that all people matter.
Right.
That's it. Okay. So I'm not, and I don't claim to understand everything, but I would say people are of worth and they deserve to be treated with dignity. And if there's a simple question of trying to figure out if somebody is worth treating that way, you just ask the one question: are they a person? Are they a human being? Well, yeah. Don't put a but in it. Well, yeah, but no. Are they a human being? Then they deserve to be treated with dignity, and they deserve to be treated decent. Okay. And so we got a little bit off on the world can in that, and we'd make it more confusing, but on the stuff, we can treat people well. And then more importantly, not more importantly, is if you're out there to realize the life that Wendy's had has been a journey, and there's been some very difficult chapters of the life. We're still not even in the most wonderful chapter, but her mind and her heart and everything is in the right place, and it's focusing on God, and we're glad about that. We're glad to get to spend some time with you, Wendy. You made me laugh, even though you talked bad about the Cowboys.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that made Bobby mad. Did you see him get all mad over there?
Just treat others as you wouldn't be treated.
Even Cowboy fans. No, Philadelphia Eagle fans, I'll treat you decent, because you're a human being.
You know what?
Huh?
what team I like has nothing to do with what's in my heart.
I agree.
And if I treat you the way I want to be treated, I bet you we both end up having a good time.
I bet so. Give me 5, Wendy. We did this thing. Amen.
Lord, thank you.
Thank you.
Have-
Okay, and I hope y'all have a great day out there. And we thank you for listening to another Collage podcast. And I encourage you, if you're ever out and about and you want to come see what's going on in Temple, Texas, I encourage you to do it. But I also would tell you the things we talk about here, I don't care where you're sitting at listening to this. Okay, you can do the same things where you are there. Love people and love them well and treat people with dignity. I don't even care where you're at. Okay, it's that simple. And then I would put you, who's listening to this, included in that list who deserves to be treated well and to be loved well. You are a person and you matter also. So don't forget that little truth and all of it. Appreciate it. And I hope y'all have a great day.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Collage Podcast, a production of Red Cord Media. For more information on this and other podcasts, please visit redcordmedia.org.